everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the hands behind Lovecraft Crochet. My plushies are for the anxious, depressed, autistic, and neurodivergent. Small enough to travel in a purse, backpack, diaper bag, or even your pocket. You can check out my Facebook page or TikTok to see what patterns are available and stay tuned for the new ones coming out. I also make hats, scarves, blankets, and dice bags for the tabletop gamer or dice goblin in your life. Feel free to order through the page, TikTok DMs, or via email at love.craft.crochet@gmail.com. Now, on to the segment.
Urban legends, missing heaven, hookmen coming for you, missing 15 minutes. Mothman's flying at you, missing 15 minutes.
Welcome to Mything 15 Minutes, the show where folklore, I hate you, gets served with a side of history. I'm Sam Rossi, reading a script stuffed with carbs, opinion, and the spirit of seasonal overeating, written by AJ Carey.
You said that all in one breath. I'm very happy for you, Sam.
Ever since I quit smoking, my lung capacity's gone down.
Since I quit drinking, you stopped thinking.
You ain't much fun since I quit drinking.
Teensy joined the AAA.
She's a walker. She can take it.
Anyways, proceed.
Sorry. Today we are diving into the myths and legends surrounding Thanksgiving. From the famous tall tales to the mysterious sightings to the stories that have grown far bigger than the turkey itself.
Which, incidentally, has actually grown like triple the size of what it was when, in the 1700s because of factory farming.
I can believe that, but I've also seen the wild turkeys in this area, and they're some big-ass motherfuckers.
Well, yes, because before we had the actual factory farms, they were still bred just in a little bit more of a organic way.
Okay, so they're GMO without the chemicals.
Basically, it's sort of the same reason why medieval cows were actually much smaller than the ones we have today. Although, arguably, that is because we pump way too much shit into our cows.
I don't believe that because I've been watching the Iowa Dairy Farmer on Facebook for a very long time. Our first legend is the big one. The idea of the first Thanksgiving. The classic scene taught in schools for decades, if not centuries.
Well, technically, yes, centuries at this point.
Yeah. Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people gathering in peace, sharing a huge meal, giving thanks in perfect harmony. AJ promised me he was going to go full libtard when he talking about this. Seriously.
Would you prefer to say Democrat there?
No. Because the entire party system sucks.
It does.
The picturesque moment, that wasn't quite so simple. The real 1621 gathering did happen. It was just a multi-day harvest celebration that was primarily a diplomatic meeting between the two. There was also no turkey and 0 buckled hats. Most of the imagery comes from the Victorian writers who wanted a neat, feel-good origin story. Something moral, simple, patriotic, Christian.
Yeah.
Hilariously, it's also why we think pilgrims were wearing buckled hats. Because it looked better in illustrations of the time and made pilgrims seem like they were doing a lot better off than they actually were since it became a fashion trend among the well-off after the pilgrims left.
I think that's just interesting to know. Everyone should know that fact, that they didn't wear the buckled hats because they weren't popular and they weren't utilized until after the pilgrims left England. And they only became a fashion statement with the well-to-do. Not like the super elite wealthy, but middle class would be a good...
Yeah.
So if you started showing people, images of pilgrims wearing something that it'd be similar to showing off like a dude, everyone's wearing polos and khaki shorts.
Yeah.
I think that's the equivalency today.
I see what you mean, yeah. So they exaggerated, sanitized, and in some cases, invented details entirely. They basically fanficked the first Thanksgiving to life in the 19th century to give a national story people would want to believe.
One
of cooperation.
Triumphing
Over conflict.
Thank you.
The real history is a lot more complex than that. But that'll slide us into Killing 15 Minutes territory. And if we went over just how that wall went down from the first Thanksgiving to when it was popularized to even when it became a national holiday, and the iconography and legends got way more insane. On an anthropological level,
it's sort of insane how we start with the giving thanks meals.
It's sort of insane how we start with the giving thanks meals of the Protestant Reformation and now have Goku, Pikachu, and Snoopy balloons paraded through one of the most cultured centers of the world because of an apartment store. God bless America. God bless Macy's.
God bless Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
You ever hear of a whiffle?
Big lesson here. If your holiday needs a reboot, just wait a few centuries. Someone will write a nicer version.
It's true. It happened with Christmas, too.
To ease back from whatever Agent just wrote, our second legend centers around Sarah Josepha Hale. I really don't think that's supposed to be Josepha. Legends claim she single-handedly created Thanksgiving as a national holiday. I could see it. Well, not entirely true. She did spend 17 years writing letters to governors, senators, and multiple presidents advocating for it. The famous version of the story says Abe Lincoln read one of her letters and thought, you know what? She's right, and instantly declared Thanksgiving a holiday. Sounds great, right?
I think it does. Ain't how it said. God, I'm the one who wrote this shit.
Although I also know a lot of people that don't even know of Hale. And I'm wondering if that's because of a weird TredCon.
Traditional conservative.
Bearing a lot of the history to say that women should only be homemakers since she was a fairly prolific person in the 1800s. Did you know women can be magazine editors in the 1800s? Couldn't you help yourself there, AJ? Could ya?
No. I'm pro-woman. What the hell are you?
I'm pro whatever's that white old man. In reality, Hale was influential, but Lincoln's decision also was shaped by the Civil War. The country needed unity. Still, Hale's legend grew because she was persistent, passionate, and genuinely believed the holiday should be national. But even if you don't ascribe to her gumption being a key factor, she was the one who popularized the...
Poplar trees don't have a U, Sam.
The Thanksgiving turkey, pumpkin pies, cranberry...
sauce.
No, I skipped an entire sentence.
You did?
Yeah,
you're here.
I'm here. I jumped off.
What, she turned into a tree?
Even if you don't ascribe to her gumption being a key factor, guess what she popularized? The entire menu for Thanksgiving. She was the one who popularized the Thanksgiving turkey, pumpkin pies, cranberry sauce, and honestly, even better idea, the holiday should be a gigantic domestic banquet.
That was a hell of a sentence you just said there.
Yeah, there was a lot of food in there. She was truly a hero, a visionary, the mother of turkey coma. Now for the third legend. It's more of the folkloric side because the holiday absorbed parts of native or European and colonial traditions.
Yay!
I figured it'd be nice to honor the harvest bounty it means to symbolize.
Yes. The meal is meant to symbolize the harvest bounty.
I got you. How? By talking about ghosts, as is the mythic bread and butter.
No supernatural raccoons, though. Sort of. Continue reading, actually.
Sometimes called turkey or corn spirits, there's always been a notion of harvest spirits. Some regions claim that the last sheaf of corn harvested housed a spirit. Leaving part of the harvest behind fed the spirits of the land. Thunder before winter meant the turkey spirits were warning. Thunder before winter meant the turkey spirits were warning hunters of dangerous omens ahead. And strange shapes in the field after harvest were wandering ghosts. Basically, the whole thing wraps up with, be nice to the field or the field gets mad.
Basically.
Not wrong.
Well, and that's actually what I think is very interesting. We'll probably cover this a little bit at the end. We'll wait until the end.
These beliefs mixed with early New England harvest traditions, and by the 1800s, rural communities told stories of shadow figures wandering the farmland in late November. Hey, maybe that's why you were born, brother. No. Don't matter. Our parents had sex around Valentine's Day for you.
And around there for you.
I was born 3 weeks late.
That's because you're a Carrie.
Never on time. Sometimes these spirits would appear as tall shapes in the fog, half human, half animal figures, enormous birds walking upright, or even watchful spirits, watchful silhouettes near or in barns or in silos. Even watchful silhouettes near or in barns and silos. Yeah, suddenly it's feeling like Mothman, the Night Deer, and even Shadow Men are all tied into Thanksgiving.
'Tis the season.
It's for Shadow Rock. I'm picking on you. 'Tis the season, yes. The legends have faded over time, primarily due to the commercialization of the holiday, and it's slipping much further away from being a harvest-related meal of unity. But some areas, especially in rural Pennsylvania, New York, and New England, still talk about the harvest watcher, a spirit who observes the fields. A spirit who observes the fields over the final crops are stored for winter. Look, frankly, if I saw a giant upright turkey ghost, I'm out. I don't care if it's Thanksgiving. I don't care if it's when we get to be with family. I'll take my pie and stuffing to go. Thanks. I like stuffing. My favorite part of Thanksgiving. Screw everything else. I want the good stuffing. Whether real or imagined, these stories show Thanksgiving had absorbed older seasonal traditions and transformed it. Before being transformed back again with the rise of traditional conservative, particularly in the 50s and 60s, that really sanitized it down to being about how awesome colonization was. With our own family tradition of sitting and saying what we are thankful for around the table, we pay homage to the great Reformation giving thanks meals of the 16th century.
Which is actually something I didn't realize that we did.
From mythologizing pilgrims to visionary editors and wandering harvest spirits, Thanksgiving is wrapped in more lore than most people realize, and zero buckles. I know some of you may still be recovering from that revelation. I'm sorry, but they didn't have buckle hats, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have buckle shoes.
No, they had buckle shoes.
Oh. I didn't think they were...
That was the most prominent way for shoes to be buckled. Although, around the 17th century is when they had a buckle, but it was more like a for show buckle, because they would have laces or something very similar.
Okay, so they would have, like, cufflinks.
Kind of.
They come with a button. And most people use the button unless they're dressing up, then they use cufflinks. So Thanksgiving, legitimately, I've heard of the harvest spirits.
Well, and that's sort of something I wanted to talk about when it came to this, was that it wasn't just the pilgrims. That is a more recent thing. Something that I personally always get into is that Thanksgiving did not start because of the pilgrims and the Indians. It was one of many, it was actually started as meals for giving thanks. Everyone knows of the Feast of All Saints.
Yep.
Or many other feasts. There is because of this bountiful time.
Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday. Fat Tony. I don't know about that one. But
Oh,
but there were all these giving thanks meals. And what it started in the Reformation, just to be like, Protestants being, hey, this is what we're thankful for. Which is actually kind of interesting. Like I said, I didn't realize, while I don't think our family is still doing it because of some random Protestant
no, I think it's more
backlog,
tradition than anything else.
it's a tradition of a tradition of a tradition. It's Thanksgiving. It's supposed to be the time you're supposed to be thankful.
You're thankful for you're supposed to be thankful for the harvest. You're, being able to make it through the winter. You want to be thankful for that if you're able to.
Right.
I'm thankful for all the wood we have. Blah blah.
But
blah,
that's
blah,
actually sort of the thing that why I wanted to bring up the harvest spirits of, because it was a harvest. The original Thanksgiving as a holiday was meant to be being still thankful for the harvest. The unity was, hey guys, if we can have meals together, because look at what, our ancestors, the Pilgrims, were like with the Indians, which then translated into, now let's just make it all about the Pilgrims and the Indians. And then you still have the fall leafage and everything like that, but it really depends on the area you're in,
Yeah.
whether how much of it's actually based on the harvest versus based on the 1800s notion of Pilgrims and Indians. And then in the 1900s, mostly in the mid 1900s, 1950s, 1960s, is when you saw again another, wave of conservatism come in to be like, hey, let's make it about the Pilgrims even more.
Right.
And cut away from, no, because at that point it was, hey, here's the Pilgrims being so cool to the, noble savage, who wasn't the noble savage until like the 1970s, 1980s, when suddenly a lot of Americans went, you know what, maybe we were kind of hard on the people we fucked over. And then what it should have done, and here's where I kind of hate where the world is right now, what it should have done is, as the grasp of conservatism went down, and we did start going, because you saw it in the 80s and 90s where you had a lot of people saying, oh, the Pilgrims did this bad thing and everything like that.
Yeah, I
Didn't want
remember
it on
that.
and they did, but it should have gone back to being more towards, the spirit of the harvest.
Right.
But it didn't. What it did is just became a sensationalism of, man, people are attacking the Pilgrims. But then again, that's me bitching about mainstream media, and I don't want to be siding with some of the other people who bitch about the mainstream media online.
All right. We're going to end that there.
Okie dokie.
Thank you for joining us for a special autumn episode of Mything 15 Minutes. If you really enjoyed this dive into seasonal folklore, share it around the dinner table, impress your family, and gently correct anyone who insists that the Pilgrims invented the pumpkin pie. Until our next episode, may your stuffing be moist, your stories be accurate, and your harvest spirits friendly. Oh, and please like our socials: Facebook, Carry On Production, Twitter, Carry On Prod. Share us around, comment, do all the stuff. Yeah, we have measures. And yeah, we have a membership available on Apple. And we're looking at the Spreaker membership deal, so more on that later. I'm Sam Rossi.
And I'm AJ Carey.
Later, y'all.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Do I know where my kids are?
No.
I do.
They should be in bed.
He should be.
Mything 15.
Keep on carrying on.
C-A-R-E-Y.
Y.
Because
Carry On Production.